Hi guys, I'm trying out a new device. I bought myself a new tablet. So if this all goes horribly wrong, I'm still learning where to look as well, so that I'm looking at you rather than looking at me. Try not to do that because it's very annoying when you're not the person isn't actually looking at you, but I'm doing my best. I think I know where it is and I'm trying my hardest. Righto guys, welcome to my Flosstube. I'm Emily, Crafty Emily here. I'm sorry I am just back and my usual, I haven't scrubbed my arms yet, but such is life. Anyway, I'm here for my Flosstube. It's Friday the 9th of July, so it's been 8 days since my last Flosstube. Trying to do it weekly. Yesterday, I would have done it yesterday morning, but I went into work at 10:30 instead of 12 to cover for somebody else who'd been working late because of the football and consequently missed my window. So I've finished for the day here. Gone and got some lunch with Maddie, my big girl, and we are now home, and so I thought I'd do my Flosstube for you. I have only worked on 4 pieces this week, and it's the same pieces that you saw last week, so if I get this recorded nicely, I'm going to try and do a little stitch with me, which will be like the second half. I'm going to try and do this in a oneer so that there's no mucking about with it. So without further ado, I shall show you some cross stitch. The first thing, and I've not done very much more, but I did do some, was on my pilgrim. So here's where the colour is bright today, a little bright today. Let me turn this off and see if this makes it. That's probably a little nearer the natural colour it is. Here we are. Here's where I am. So I've done a bit of this, I think, since last week. Done a little bit of this, and I've come up to meet, and I was only 1 stitch out, which for me on a long dog, 1 stitch out when I've stitched this top part here a long time ago is not bad. So of this page, let's get rid of them. Of this page, there's a little tiny bit to do down here, and then there's words. I've got this is where the completion of my labour starts. So the words just to the end of the page, I've got about that much that's going in there, and then that'll be the end of he is on the next page. This is the page break. So this page is nearly done. I've just got a big chunk to do here. I'm going to see if I can get that done for next week, just because it would be really good. So this is where I am, and just because I can, I'll take it out. Just because I can. There it is. There's my pilgrim. That's where I am so far. Great big buzzy flies just come in, so I'm sorry if you can hear it, because I can really hear it. And I've still got all of that to go. There'll be the same, that much border at the bottom, so I've still half, maybe nearly half. We will see. Anyway, pilgrim, which Mrs. Sada's Darling Silk, which is a joy to work with. And I'll put this back on later on. Okay, so the second piece I worked on was my Snow Wizard, and I have a little holy in this, but I have got the DMC I need. It's here. So here is where I am with my Snow Wizard. There is my little holy. 1 stitch, 1 colour. You see, on 14 count Ada, you can really see the background, but by the time I put it there, you can't. So fully out, that's where I am from the top down. So that's where I am on that, and I did a little bit more filling in, just a little bit here and there, and that's where I'm up to. So here is the second dragon coming here, and the next background colour, I am almost into it. I think within this next 10 stitch block, I think the colour change between the 820 and I think we're going into 796. I think it is the next background colour, but we'll be over the hump of the 820, and I couldn't find this colour. I'm pretty sure I've got it, it's just in a different packet somewhere. I was in Hobbycraft, so I got the extra colour, so I'm going to keep on going with that. And that's that. Oh, there's the bottom. There's the bottom of my page. I've got that much to go, so I'm really only about halfway down page 5 of my pilgrim. Page 5? Page 8. That's page 8. I'm only about that much, and on page 7, which is the page next to it, as you can see, I've only just touched it, just to join it up so that I've got somewhere to go from. And my next project, I have a new start. Here is my start of birdies. And I thought for once I would start in the centre. You can see that I put pink on this fabric. There, I centre started. So what I've done is the middle knot. There it is. And this is using the same colours with a couple added that I'm going to be using for the pointed fifth. So you can see I added in the yellows and the orange to match into my dual colours to make it a rainbow. And that's the centre. And I'm just making the colours up as I go. So there's quite a big block now of this, which is étoile. Probably just about get a little bit of sparkle on it there. So a little bit of étoile there. So I'm just filling in. I'm going to do all of that bit next. I'm going to hiccup. I'm really sorry. I'm going to do all of that bit next. Maddie and I, we got a meal deal in Tesco. So, you know, a sandwich, a snack, and a drink. And I got a bottle of cherry Coke Zero, which was very mummily. So I apologise for my hiccups. So there's my birdies, and I'll show you my colour palette now that it's not just a pile of nonsense. Robin finally made me, after I asked and asked and asked and asked and asked, maybe not quite that many times, but I did ask and I did remind him. He made me a thread drop, and this is a black walnut thread drop, so it is beautiful. The top colour here is it's almost purple. You can see it's pretty glorious, but that's my colour palette for birdies and the pointed fifth. And if you take out these colours here and that burgundy, those are my pointed fifth colours, and then these are the colours I added in to loop it round so that it could be a loop, because obviously on birdies it's a continuous border, so I want the continuous border to be continuous. So there's my colour palette. Those are just all the Julie tones that we picked to there and up to here, and then these are just the ones that I put in to loop it round. Oh, they're just all the colours that I love. And these are all DMCs. If you can see the numbers there. All but this one here, this custard yellow, is an Anchor 313, just because that seemed the right kind of colour. Okay, so, and 823 is the navy blue étoile. Oh look, you can really see the sparkle on that I'm using. And I'm going to show you my pointed fifth, which I have been working on. Very much easier now I've gridded it. Let's take it out of its 11 by 11. Okay, so on this piece of pink we have got my pointed fifth, and as you can see I've got a hog, and I've got some sort of bird who appears to be, to me, he's the Stars and Stripes, isn't he? I don't know, maybe that's just my fancy there. And then here come the first set of arches. That's only stopping there because that's where I changed the colour. And I thought I'd do a little stitch with me here because I can show you the blend between that there, and then I can join it down here and show you the colour change there. That's what I thought anyway. I'm going to try. Robin's going to make me a tripod that I can rest my new tablet on, but it hasn't materialised yet, so I'm going to do a bit of a balancing act, so we will see how well it works. But that's where I've got to on my pointed fifth, which I'm extremely happy with. You can see it runs through the pinks into the dark pink burgundies, into the raspberry colours, and then down into two purples there. And this is the join into the blue. And I thought, if I'm going to do a stitch with me, I'm not going to join two purples, I'm going to do the purple and the blue so that you can see clearly how it blends. I was doing some in the car today. I've got the dinkiest magnets. Look at this tiny, tiny little magnet. They're really good, but they're tiny. Anyway, yeah, so I have a large piece of blue thread hanging off from that. I don't know what that's from. Oh, that's going to be 820. That's going to be 820 belonging to my thingy. If there's any bright royal blue, it's 820 belonging to Snow Wizard. So I have a teeny tiny piece of, I'll get rid of that because it's loud, teeny tiny piece of haul. Now, I don't know if some of you did watch my Flossmas. I made my mum a Christmas present. I kitted her in ink circles. Oh crikey, what's it called? It's a tree. It's a tree made out of Celtic knots, and she's doing it, and she's got to the point where she'd run out of dinky dye, and she'd run out of Weeks Dye Works Noel, that she was doing the leaves on the edge of the branches. So she'd run out of them, and she just went, I don't know where I can get these from. She can get DMC. She was like, I don't know where to get these from. Help. So I have to put in a little Lakeside order. Now, Lakeside now give you free postage if you spend more than £30. Brilliant, thinks I. So one dinky dye and 1 Weeks Dye Works is not free postage. Obviously, I wasn't going to leave it at that, was I? This is Lakeside Needlecraft. They are an online, UK based, and they're very, very good. Very good prices. Very good. Anyway, so I got myself 2 more étoiles, 823s, because I figure I'm going to need quite a lot. I'm actually putting a lot more of the navy blue étoile onto the pointed fifth than I originally thought. But, so I got myself 2 of those. And of course there's going to be a lot in my birdies. My birdies is 40 count. I'm only using 1 strand. So that's just 1 strand of straight DMC there. My pointed fifth is 32 count and is 2 strands so that I can blend. That's why it's on a 32 count and why it's going to be this size so that I can blend it. Anyway, I spent a long time looking at the Karen water lilies, and I picked in the end a pink. It's called Flamingo, and it does variegate through peach. That's washing it out. About there. It variegates through peach and into pink, but it's very subtle. So I went for a pink. I looked at all the pretty colours, and this is just a random skein to go into my box of random silk skeins, which I will use at some point. It was just a bit of pretty. Now, I was talking the other day about my Nitka Moscow kit. My tube is just somewhere just there. Sorry, I'm not even going to spend ages looking for it. Of the Seasons, the Seasons girls that I like, that I've got the kit, and I started, but it didn't look right to me. So for the grand price of £2 and small change and £2.60, I think, I got some of these oval one of the ladies on my Stitchy Zoom, Tanya, was using one, and she said, oh, they're really good, I really like them. So I thought, right, I'll get a couple. I was surprised how cheap they were. This is bendy plastic, but it looks a bit like wood, and this bit's just a little plastic insert, and obviously you can stitch in it, because it really, I imagine, once there's fabric in there as well, that is going to be super tight, really flexible. I'm very surprised how flexible it is. But I went for oval because I'm wondering if I can find the right size fabric to do the girl so that she fits, because she's a girl holding, she's got a big full skirt and she's holding a thing. I mean, see, I wasn't sure, but I figured I'd use them at some point anyway. So there's a bigger oval and there's a smaller oval, and there's one size smaller again. So I got the two just to see, and if one of them is the right size and I do one lady, I'll just get 3 more and then I can have them, you know, or wherever. And then I fell into the excuse me, I fell into the sale section, and I got a piece of 22 count, and it said Ada, but this is hardanger. It's 2 strands, and it's this size, which is big enough for something small. There's something very big and buzzy in here. I hope Eric doesn't come in and try and catch it, because everything is balanced. It's literally balanced over there. So I got a little piece, and they're in the sale section, and they're called odd size cuts. You must be able to hear that fly. It's just there. That annoyed it. It needs to go away. That's really annoying, sorry. It's called odd size cuts or something, and I imagine at the end of a bolt they get the long skinny bits. Now I like long skinny bits because I like the long skinny pieces. So I'm not buying, I'm planning to do the snow castle. I'm going to give myself permission. I know I said I'd do a whip parade, and I will, but what I was going to explain as I did my whip parade was that I started Home is Where the Magic Is, and it's a Randall Spangler, and it's a beautiful house, and it's huge, and I bought it because I wanted to do trick or treat, but I wanted to do a slightly different one, so I got Home is Where the Magic Is. I should have bought the snow castle at the time. So I checked the size, and it's DMC. I've not used DMC Ada before, guys. The lines are red. They're red, and they're sort of slubby. Look, that looks like the pen went thick. Anyway, it's DMC Ada, which I've not used before, but this piece is big enough to put the full size, not the super size, the standard ordinary sized snow castle on. I don't know if there's a max colour. I don't think there's a max colour. If there's a max colour, I will get the max colour pattern, but I think it's just a standard pattern to Randall Spangler. But that's big enough to put the snow castle on, and that is 18 count. I think this little piece is 22, so even though it's a small piece, I'll be able to fit something on it because it's 22 count. This is 18 count because I didn't want to go too small, because obviously they're companion pieces, and I didn't want this one to be too small in comparison to that one, which might look a bit bulky and blocky next to it. So I'm not starting it, but I have bought this piece of Ada, this piece of DMC 18 count Ada with the Easy Grid specifically. You can see the difference in the size between the 18 and the 14 by the size of the squares. You can see how much bigger the 14 count is, and you can also see that getting out of the car, my coffee cup was not quite done up, so it has a coffee mark on it now, which has erased the erasable pen. It really has erased the erasable pen, so there we go. The pen works, Coffee was frustrating because I've got a Contigo coffee cup, and I put 2 sweeteners in my coffee, and I forgot to put my sweeteners in. So at 11 o'clock when we have our little coffee break, I got my coffee and I was like, ugh. I was like, I need coffee, I'm going to drink it anyway. I'm not grown up enough not to have sweetener in my coffee at all. So I didn't finish my coffee, and I take the lid off. I don't use the sippy thing because I'm a child, and when I take a sip, if I try and gulp, it comes out your shine, goes down your front. So I've never learned how to drink from the Contigo properly. So I just take the lid off and drink it like a cup. And I put the lid on, but I put the lid on slightly squint because I always finish my coffee because I always just go, oh, coffee, gulp, 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 and it's gone. But this one, because it wasn't sweet enough. Anyway, that's the story of why I now have coffee on my Snow Wizard. I'm not going to break my heart over it. I'm intending to get that finished sooner rather than later, and it will get washed because I love washing. I love washing a finished piece because I love the floof. Not that I've finished many pieces, but I love the floof of it. So I bought that specifically to do Snow Castle on the Snow Castle, and to go with my Snow Wizard. I'm humming and hawing over starting another Haid as well, and now of course because I've given myself permission to give up for now stitching Home is Where the Magic Is, because I had literally done like 300 stitches in one corner. That's all I've done of 939. That's all I've done is like literally 300 stitches or something. I will show it in my work parade, but I'm going to give myself permission to let it go, and of course that means I can reuse the Ada. And there's a beautiful rainbow, it's a fractional, it's like a mandala, but it's like a fractional, and I'm humming and hawing because I've got a lot on the go, but that pull for a new start is still very there. So anyway, that was my tiny bit of haul from Lakeside. I did get a couple of little things from Hobbycraft in the week, but only really one DMC was stitchy related, like cross stitch related. Other than that, I've had a pretty slow week. It's not much going on. It's been just standard, my normal work shifts, and it's been fine. I've adjusted to it now. I've got used to it. So life jogs on. I'm catching up on the Tour de France, which started without me this year, and I'm watching a couple of stages a night, so I think I'm up to about stage 7. So I've watched Cav get 2 stages now, which is pretty brilliant because yeah, he's knocking on. It's good to see him on form. As long as he stays on his bike, he'll be fine. He just has to stay on his bike, and they're all falling off. It is a carnage. They're just all falling off their bikes, and I'm like, oh, get up, oh dear, there's bits of ripped lycra and broken men, and oh, bless them. Anyway, it's what they do. That's the highlight of their lives. So when the football was on the other night, I was watching the cycling. I was catching up on the cycling, so I'm getting a couple of episodes in a night to try and catch myself up, and then I can go from there and do it daily. But I'm not even doing the full coverage challenge this year. Usually I always work on my treasure hunt bookshelf, but I'm not doing that this year. I just haven't got the oomph in me at the moment to do it, so I've let that go as well. I've just got to let things go until I've reached a point where I can cope with what I've got going on, and I mostly have. There was another hiccup, sorry. I did have an accident the other night, and my glass shelf slipped, and I lost 5 DMCs into a cup of coffee. So these are all coffee stained. I'm going to hank them up, like make them loose, and I'll wash them because it's DMC and it washes. And then hopefully this 161, which should be purple and not grey, is, look, can you see how coffee gross it is? Look. Oh dear. Yeah, I'm going to try and rescue these, but if I can't, it's just one hank. of each of those. 838, 779, 161, 3685 and 3817 I didn't put away. And when it slid, it all slid straight into my coffee, which I also spilt. My coffee cup landed right side up and the DMCs went sploosh. And I was literally like, I didn't drink the rest of my coffee that time. Never mind. That's about it for this little short section. We're on 25 minutes. Yeah, so part of my Etsy money I used to buy myself a tablet. Now my little phone, which is a Sony, and has had this jelly cover on it for so long that it's actually yellowed. Look how dead and yellow it is, and it's got some paint on it from work there as well. But this has kept it to this has saved it many times, this big thick jelly cover. Anyway, this dear little Sony is at capacity. Last week when I did my video, I had to delete Google off it to free up enough space to process my video, and basically nothing works without Google. There it is. There's my dear little Sony phone. It's quite a nice little thing. I've had it a couple of years now. So it's got 32 gig in it, which is used. I can clear, and I need about 4.5 gig to process the video, and it has to use its internal. It can't use the SD card, so it has to use the internals to do it. So I can just about clear enough space to the point where everything is on an SD card. I took off the only game. Zombie Catcher's a fun game. The only game that I play occasionally, and is sometimes if the boys at a loose end in the car, I can give him my phone. He can have a quick game. I even deleted that because it was big. I was humming and hawing about deleting Etsy and then reinstalling Etsy, and then it says all your data will be gone, and I'm like, oh no, not, you know, obviously everything that's stored on Etsy would be fine, and I was like, I'm not quite sure what it's going to remove, and all my templates and stuff that's already there, I was like, can't do that, because I did everything on this little machine. So I got myself a new tablet. It's got 64 internal, so I'm going to do nothing with my tablet. I'm not even going to put Pattern Keeper on it, because I have that little cheapy Fire thing that was 30 quid. Yeah, this was not much more than, because it's a Lenovo, so it's nothing flash, it's nothing fancy. It just has the processing power, I hope, to be able to knock out a video and process it and upload it within half a day. Because as a lot of other Flosstubers will know, it's not just recording the video that takes the time. That's the easy bit. You've then got to basically edit it through, and I try to do my videos in a oneer. I'll occasionally stop and start. That's why I manually stop and start, so that I can insert pictures really easily without having to cut and trim and go frame by frame. If there's a break, I can put a picture and then put the next video on and make that into the video. It's a lot of old hassle, but I'm hoping this is going to really speed the process up and actually be able to process the videos, and then once the video's uploaded, I can put it on an SD card and get it off the system, you know, like the storage system of the tablet. I should be able to get it onto an SD card and then clear, because what you've got to have the video saved on the phone, and then have the processing space on the phone, and then once it's processed, it's fine. It's clearing the space to process is the problem. And I was doing it on Austin's old laptop for a while, but honestly, it was so slow. And then the thing would overheat, and then you'd have to start again because it would overheat and shut down, and it wouldn't, because it hadn't finished processing, it wouldn't save it. So yeah, it's all been a bit of a headache. So hopefully this is going to solve my problem, and we shall see. And it was money that I got from making needle minders, so it hasn't touched my day-to-day money, so that's brilliant. I have made a big batch of thread drops. They have been made, baked, trimmed, and they are just waiting for a quick sand with the Dremel, because I sand the little holy you know, because they're like an egg shape, they're like a teardrop shape with the hole that you put the thread through. That I sand with the Dremel just to make sure it's not going to snag or catch anywhere. And then once I've sanded them, I'll put the magnets on, and then my dear little E6000, which is not as easy to get hold of in the UK as I imagine. I don't have a Joann's, I don't have a Michael's, I can't walk in and buy it. You can't buy this in Hobbycraft, or you certainly can't buy it in my Hobbycraft. I have to like get this off eBay and then wait. So this dear little tube is doing me very well. 24 to 72 hours for this to cure, and then photograph and Etsy. So probably about another week, guys, depending on how much free time I have, because obviously if I have free time I want to be stitching, but I'm very aware that I need to get them done. But I have made lots and lots and lots of them, and they're all in light colours. I keep thinking I must make some in other colours, I must make some in other colours, and this time I've made some with the hole at the top so that they won't be magnetic. They'll just go so they can go on a floss ring as well, because I said I'd make some of those and I didn't last time, so I've made some this time. Other than that, Robin is still busy. He's now getting to grips with his new tools, and he is making some spools which will be light. So hopefully that'll solve another problem. Oh, I will put in a little video at the end. He went and picked up wood. I got home from work at about the same time as he got back, and he's not a worry kind of person, but he was like, that was hairy. That was really hairy. Now I put my foot under the car and did that with my foot. Between the road and the side of the car, you know, like the wheels, and there's the side, was that much. It was fully laden. I will insert a video at the end, or in between this and the little stitch with me, of that, because yeah, he was cutting it fine, but my gods, he got a lot of wood, and some of it he's very excited about cutting, and it's dry. It's dry now. It doesn't need to wait. It's been kiln dried. It's like this stuff. It's dry. It doesn't need to be put in the... See this beautiful spool wasn't dry completely. It was dry, but it wasn't completely dry. Now, we think this room I'm in right now is probably the warmest room in the house. We've got a big radiator, we've got the boiler in the cupboard. It's full of stuff, and it's quite roasty toasty. So things come up here to finish drying out. We've got like little sampley bits of wood. This looks like plastic. It's so peculiar. But as it's come up here, you can see he needs to let this stuff dry a little bit longer, because it's split through the hole. There was obviously a branch growing through there, so this was just a little tester just to see, and that wasn't dry enough. See this lovely oak, which looks divine, split. So we're pondering. I might just keep this one and have it on my shelf round that way, because it's so sad, but it's beautiful that way. And on a shelf, you'd never know. Yeah. So, you know, we've got quite a few things that some things. See, this is why when he makes things, I like to keep them in the house for a bit, because everybody, you know, it's a natural product. It'll do its thing. But hopefully by the time anything goes from us, it is as dry as it's ever going to get. It's done any movement it's going to do. It is what it is. Anyway, I have finished here, so I'm going to stop that. I'm going to stop this. I'll insert the picture of the car and anything else that I've taken through the week, but I don't think there's much this week. And I will set up and try and do a little stitch with me where I show you how I blend my two colours together. Hopefully it's going to work. We shall see. I will see you in a bit, guys. Are you pleased with your red robin?
Yes, very pleased. A bit stressful, but yeah.
This is how close we are.
Not much. No suspension left.
in the front. It's in there. Yeah, I have to take that one out. I can't get it out. Holy shit balls, Robin.
Look at that.
Oh, that's heavy. Is that wet or is that just heavy?
Dry. That's pretty dry.
There's quite a lot of wood in the car. And I think we should probably unload some of that. Okay, so hopefully you're going to be able to see this. I actually can't see it at all because I'm looking up the other way. And hopefully the colour's going to be okay on it. So here's my colours. Whoa, sorry, you're a little close. I really can't see what I'm doing. Here's my colours. So I'm going to blend from here down to here. So from this burgundy, which is 915. So I want to grab one strand of 915. There. And one strand of purple, which is 550. So I have my two strands. I'm just going to thread them together like any blend on a full coverage. My light is terrible. I am so sorry. I don't know what to do about it. Probably sit with my ring light in my lap, maybe. That's not going to be any better. It's very hard to say what I'm doing. Right. I think what I'm going to do is do away with my ring light and just get rid of that and turn it off. And hopefully we'll have enough light, and I'll try and boost it up in editing if not. So I tie knots. So there's my knot. Now all I do now between my grid lines, the trick for me was getting the grid lines in, because now I can see what I'm doing, where that's that colour, and there's the purple, and there's the like very, very dark raspberry colour, and with one strand of each here I can just fill in just a little bit further away than where I'd normally sit and stitch. Just this band of 3 stitches here. Not quite enough room for my hand underneath. And I just fill in this band of 3 stitches with the 2 colours. I'm working both colours together so that it sort of ombres itself. And I'm just following my long dog pattern, but not there, because that's one too far over. I'm clearly as blind as a bat and need to be a little bit nearer my work. No, that's fine. Bring that back up there. That is the right hole. It just looks like the wrong hole because my eyes are too far away from it. There. And that's all there is to with it. This blending. Just filling in the gap with the blended thread, and I'll just do this all the way down. I've gridded my fabric all the way, not all the way, but my grid lines are on. Where's my finger? There. You can see my 2-strand grid lines. So that's one colour, the blend, one colour, the blend, one colour, and then so on and so on. So for each colour, it's just going to go on and on. So this is all there is to it. Just make sure you're in the right place and go for it. Oh, I really think I want to start a new Haid. Quick stitching time winter. Amy Stewart. 25 count, 1/1. Or what shall I start? What shall I start? I've got that beautiful ornament that I'm going to be doing on 25 count easy grid. 1/1. I could start that. I could buy that fractal pattern and start that. I think I'm going to centre start that and work outwards, because the colours I like the least are in the middle. It starts with pinks and then it goes into weirdly into sort of blacks, which I may. I'm undecided. So now I have to be careful as I get towards a bit I haven't stitched that I stay within my lines, and I'm only stitching the 3 stitch band, and then the next band is only 2 stitches. I'm a bit patingy. So I'm just going to do a couple more stitches here, and then I'll move the Q-snap to. Where's my hand? Oh, am I even in shot? I don't think I'm even in shot. This is terrible. Sorry. I only have to be able to see it, and to see it I need it nearer me, and then I'll be better when I've got a tripod. Oh, I hope that. I'm going to have to watch that back. That might be rubbish. If you're not seeing this bit, it's because it's rubbish. If you are seeing it, then I managed to keep it in shot. I'm undecided as to whether it was in shot or not. I'll just finish off this little thread. And I hope you can see that that's a join between, here comes Eric, between the red and the, hello Eric. Eric, can you hear Eric? Eric's arrived. Can you see this Eric? No, can't see any of Eric. Let me bring Eric. There. There's some Eric. Oh, claws on the long dog. Claws in the long dog. Oh, somebody's home. There we go. Right, I'll stop that here and I'll move the Q-snap and try and get this set up better. Thought I'd show you my tripod. Here we have a box full of packing materials, my thread thing, 2 thread boxes, box of homemade beads, my 2 rubbery oval things, and then behind, you know, last video I mentioned my yarn storage. Whoa, where's my hand? These are the yarn boxes right up to the top, and yeah, don't look at all of the crap. I found the Lurex in that one, so it's a bit of a hike. These are my boxes of dead people stuff from auction. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff in this room. Whole pile of fat quarters there. And yeah, this is today's tripod. I'm going to try and do a bit more stitching. Well, this is super fun. Yeah, I didn't manage to record that. I just took 2 photographs. So here, there's no blending on the pillar. And then, woohoo, look here, there's some blending and down into the blue on the pillar. I'm done for today, guys. Honestly, I am burst. So I will see you next time. Bye-bye for now. Bye.